Hi, and welcome to Social Services Exposure Episode 2. This is where we go a bit deeper because we're now going into the where we call child catchers side of things. Because obviously because now we're out of the court arena, I can actually go into the full explaining of everything. Because obviously I can't name the children, obviously for legal reasons, and nor would I want to because that's not fair on the two children. Obviously, yes, I will be naming social workers throughout this. I will be naming other individuals from other parties like of CAFCAS as we go along, because obviously they do need to be named and shamed as we go along. So just thought I would lay out the ground rules as we go along. So for this, obviously, we had our court last week. That was Wednesday, Thursday last week, and that was the final court we will ever be attending. Unfortunately, it went against us because of how corrupt Cheshire West and Chester social services are. They never want you reuniting with your children. So we've lost our children coming home till at least they're 16 to 18 years of old. If they want to vote with their feet, that's when we may be able to get them back. But we're now going to be without them for the foreseeable. And this is due to the fact they keep saying the words, "You're not ready." We've done 7 child-related courses already, including like Step into Autism, Level 2 and stuff like that, because my eldest child is autistic. That we did off our own back. For example, one course like Triple P, my dad paid for. So you can see down the line we've done a lot of extensive learning, and they still say we're not ready. And they keep saying, now you got to do course 8, then you have to do course 9, course 10, etc, etc, and then they'll keep saying you're not ready. And then on top of that, they keep pushing any other thing they can to get you to be not the right parent. It's disgusting, and we're just fed up of this now. So we've got to push the button of exposure, considering the current social worker we have, Louise Muckleduff. She has only been with us near 8 to 9 months, and she is making a decision based on the family and children. The same with the guardian, Greg Williams, in CAFCAS. Same time period. Whereas the previous social work was more towards us and the children, Hassan Akbar, he seemed to be working with us as opposed to against us, and he was quickly shifted aside. Surprise, surprise. Because they don't like that within Cheshire West. But if we go back to the start, because obviously now we're out of the court arena, we can do that now, because obviously I will be showing you full documentation in later videos when that all comes through, because I will be exposing the whole lot to you over a number of videos. And if anything were to happen to me, by the way, while exposing these, I will have a separate system that will release all the information to you guys, and then that paperwork will just be online for you to view and read and make your own decisions and come to your own conclusions, because obviously I don't want to fully influence everyone, but obviously the info will be there for you to read as well. So let's go back to where this all started back in December 2021 on the 7th, well, actually the weekend before that. So we went up to my folks' home, and this was before my mum passed away, unfortunately. And my eldest always had problems with soiling himself due to the fact when he got engaged in doing different activities and stuff like that, he would sometimes not want to stop doing what he was doing. But this was also down to the fact we hadn't had the diagnosis of autism back then. We'd asked and asked and asked and asked. We'd been blocked by the rats about us back then. They were like, nah, you're not having your autism diagnosis. And one thing led to another, so we were all asking him to go to the toilet. I asked, my wife asked, my mum asked, my dad asked, and again he refused, and he ended up soiling himself. And my eldest son got mad and then slapped me around the back of the head, and it was quite a hard slap. And as punishment for that, we agreed as a family unit, so this was me, the wife, my mum, my dad, all agreed to take the Formula 1 off him on the Sunday evening, because obviously there was a race the following night in Saudi Arabia, because he was a huge fan of Lewis Hamilton and F1, so we took the F1 off him so he couldn't watch it. That was what we thought was a fair punishment, because obviously we didn't have the extensive training we do have now. So we took the F1 off him, and then I came up to the F1 time, because he seems to be quite glued up on when the F1 is, and we made sure he went upstairs during when the F1 was, and he kept coming down, so we took him back up about 11 or 12 times, and he then, as I said, kept coming down. This tired me and the wife out, because the pair of us doing it. We both end up talking to him multiple times and literally begging him to stay upstairs, because this is getting beyond a joke. Eventually, as they tired him out, he fell asleep, and the following day he got up, all seemed rosy. It wasn't, because when he went into school, he'd gone in, made a story up that I'd tied him to the bed, and that's when things went from bad to worse to catastrophic, because obviously we then suddenly had the social knocking at the door, the police at the door, and the stupid thing is they checked our eldest over. There was no rope burn, there was no marks on him, no nothing. And he told this lie because he was fed up that he hadn't been able to see the F1. Later on down the line, he'd come back on this, but several months later in the back of a family worker's car, because he regretted it. But we'll get to that later in another video in the full detail. But I was then cleared in the February by police when they'd done the full investigation, but they still didn't hand the children back, because the social, once they got their hands in, they refused to let go. But what was worse at this point, we never signed an agreement for the kids to leave home, because obviously we were supposed to have signed a Section 22. That was never signed. They were only taken away due to the fact the wife has epilepsy, and because she can't be left alone with the children, because if she has an epileptic fit and then sleepwalks with it, she can fall down the stairs, and she needs me to be in the house. Oh, but I wasn't allowed back in the house. That's the stupidity of it all. The whole thing was blown out of proportion. They could have done the investigation within 24 hours and cleared it. And they chose just to blow it up and make a mess. But they knew what they were doing. But this was on the back of a threat from Jane Rimmer back in the September, when she said, "One day I'm coming for your children." So we know they make threats. They're not allowed to, because we checked with the police. We've checked with barristers and things like that. No, they're not allowed. So again, when they make these sorts of threats, they're not. So that's how it all started. And then got to February, I was cleared, but the kids were moved on into full foster care by them. And we were moved into the court arena for the first time and slowly started on. And obviously this is where things started to get murkier and murkier, as we lost our first social worker, Jane Rimmer, switched to Jeanette Dykes, who again was a vile social worker. And obviously she never played ball with us. She only wanted to make things worse, which is obviously what I'm going to go on to in the next video of her dealings with us. And I do have major dates and things where she has made our life a misery, not just with myself and the wife, but with the extended family. For example, my dad and my mum, and visiting the kids. That's where it gets murkier and darker. So obviously I will put that into the next video, because obviously we've got to do this step by step and break it all down, because obviously to show you how bad these child catchers are within Cheshire West and Chester. Because if we go putting too much in one video, I'll lose you. And we'll do episode by episode. This is episode 2. I'll get episode 3 out, and this probably going to be about, could be God knows how many episodes, but we'll see. And I'm going to stay calm through the whole thing and get you through the whole system. And by the end, if you can like, share, get these videos out there as far and wide as possible, this word needs to be spread. And if we can sink Cheshire West and Chester, God Almighty, that is what we need to do. But again, thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.